Bada bing, bada boom. We're live, everybody. All right, I'm just gonna throw some tweets out. We got a couple minutes. Let's drop some questions in there. We got small cap rockets on here. We've got some trading challenge students on here. Just put a tweet out. Live again this morning. Bam, bam. What's everyone's top watch out there? And then I gotta spread the news to their chat rooms. Make sure everyone's. We've got. Oh, we're hearing myself twice. Bam, bam. All right. Paste. Okay. So with that, we should be ready to rock and roll. So today, watching, I'll go over my top watches. OCGN's probably my top watch. This one had this dump yesterday, sell the news event, but it recovered. So huge squeeze potential there. It's already trying to squoze a bit pre-market. If we look year to date, it's also a big breakout. Yeah, it's run a lot, but we've also seen stocks like HX. If I pull up like a 6 month on this, it's gotten crushed, but just keep squeezing and keep squeezing. So not that I think OCGN, maybe it could. I think it is setting up for quote unquote mother of all squeezes. So definitely gonna be watching this for a dip out of the gate. The other interesting one was BBBY, which is a Bed Bath & Beyond. They must have reported earnings, but this is a former Wall Street bet play. It's gapping up 50%. That's huge after it got crushed from its probably got to go back further now. The initial Wall Street bet run. So huge gap up. I probably won't be trading this one. Wouldn't be surprised if this one just fades off. But BB, just like BlackBerry, also ran at the same time. So I'm watching that. There's also KOSS, KOSS. That's probably, this one's always traded less volume than the others. It's always been kind of difficult to trade. But if this gets some traction, I'm going to keep it up because you can see after hours yesterday, it got a little spike around that news. And then I got AABB. That's a classic. This one dumped yesterday with no bounce. Probably going to dump further, but going to keep watching it. The other one is INND. This is an OTC breakout that was a very slow grinder yesterday. Probably's got more in the tank, but it's on its third green day. We'll see how it opens. It's got a slight gap up today, which is always good to see. You can see this gap up right there. So those are my watches. I'm going to try to put them in order. OCGN first, just left to right. Yeah, small cap, got some good details in here. If anyone's got questions on the chat, let me know. Let's keep it rolling. So I'm not going to spill my coffee today. I learned my lesson last time. So the other ones kind of watching are some Bitcoin plays. I've got a list of them, but Bitcoin pulled a low this morning. But we're just keep flipping through them every day, trying to see if any of them are setting up. OCGN though, I like a lot. Good luck. The other ones are, yeah, that's pretty much my main watches there.
What about GFAI?
Gaffy. GFAI did have a nice gap up. But I'm not convinced. What do we got? About a minute. Gaffy, I just never really had a run. So it's already kind of getting clobbered. It might spike to 280. So if you're into a quick 30-cent share, but this just got destroyed. So I just don't think it's worth it on the daily chart for it to really You know, because there's the theory being this traded, what, 100 and something million shares, like 115 million. There's a bunch of bag holders in there from that day that are going to sell into any pop at all. So I just think the odds of it working are very, very slim. Cost, BB. BB has also got just a good daily chart, like a breakout over 12. This one, it's a large company, so historically it's going to be a slower mover, but some cute action there. Here we got OCGN. So, with that, I did have a mug today. Thanks for commenting, because I spilled my shit everywhere last time. So, lesson learned. We're setting it off to the side and we're not going to spill it. All right. Am I going to grow a beard like Papa? I think Papa's the only man I know who might be able to pull that beard off, so we're going to leave that to him. And about 10 seconds, let's get it. Good luck today, everyone. Trade your plan, trade smart, do the right things. OCGN, some good volume coming in there. I would love this to dip. There we go. Good dip. Let's see how it recovers there. BB, not much. Costs, volume's pretty light. IND, walking down. Pretty severe dip there. Got 1 minute chart up. DWAC I'm seeing spiking a little bit. OCGN is curling. IND is spiking to new highs.
Not yet.
Pretty close. We'll take after hours off. It's pretty close. OCGN. I'm gonna nibble some. Very small, about 500 shares for now. Just trying to get a feel of how this stock's gonna trade. But that big dip in recovery leads me to believe something else is a cooking. So under lows, we'll just cut it, move on. But I don't think it's done. Watching that like 630 level basically. Over highs, I'd be willing to double down. Get like up to 1,000. Because I think a squeeze will probably start happening around there. Alright, we added. We got 1,000 now. Again, we'll be quick to cut if we're wrong, because it could very well stuff. This is going to be a choppy one because of that action yesterday. Go look at like a 5-day here. You can see what happened yesterday. But thesis being there's a lot of shorts trapped, basically sub 16. So that dip basically held 1630. So I mean, thought process being if you're a short seller at that point, I would be very nervous to say the least. So all right. So far, a bit of nothing. Not going to get too crazy. Size. Letting it do its thing. Watching this low right here. 1630. And we'll cut it with no motion. and just move on if we're wrong. Finger on the trigger. Back over 17, that's good. Quick look at BB. BB, I did have a nice morning spike. Cost, no volume. Keeps holding. Thing is, at this point, if it gets below probably that 1670 level, we'll probably have a hard crack to low day, which is fine, just to be expected. But if we can get back over 17, especially 1750, we'll see a nice squeeze. Just chopping around. The key on these is just to respect your risk level and just let it chop, and just know if your risk level comes, you're going to cut. And if it doesn't, you're just going to stay in the trade. So the only level I'm focusing on is 1630. Which looks like we might get tested here. Yep, here comes the crack. Cut it. 1631, I just failed. Bit premature, but better safe than sorry. Alright, nothing wrong with that. Stuck to our trade plan. BB is failing.
Matt, IND I think looks really good.
IND does look pretty good. What's that daily look like? It's always just been such a slow mover.
Which one?
IND.
Did you see the date?
See, that's why it's important to cut your loss there on OCGN. Alright. Oh, my keyboard's lagging a little bit. ABB, harsh pull. BBBY, harsh pull. IND does look the best of all the setups out there, I'm going to be honest. DWAC's moving. Costs, I'm going to take off my screen. Just looks like crap. OCGN could still recover, but like I'm moving it over on my screen because that's going to take a long time for it to be a play at this point. Let's pull up Fun, PHUN. Fun is starting to curl because DWAC's spiking. This is what's paving the way there. So 68 yesterday's high is going to be pretty key on this one. We haven't had a crazy strong bounce on this yet. So let's move this over. It's like a... Yeah, I mean, I like DWAC. DWAC looks strong, looks healthy. Can't justify buying it up here. So I'm going to watch Fun, which obviously has yesterday's resistance, but I went on a great rip over that 380 level. Those are the main two. Then we also had Mark that ran with it. Ooh. Let's see if that has anything at all. We ran yesterday with it. Probably going to be a similar story. Yeah, kind of bounceless so far. Mark, I don't know. It's the weakest of them all. Alright, small cap, what are we watching in here? Great community, great scanners. PTIP? PTPI? Let's look. PTPI? That's a good spike there. It's got that chart to run to like 4. What's the float? Low float. Let's go look at just intraday. I mean, that's a good looking chart. PTPI. Let's do some research. The ideal entry would have been like over this 220 level for sure. Volume's coming in. I'm not sure there's a big seller there. 240. Doesn't seem to look like it. Let's see if we can get a pullback. Healthy pullback, to like 225. Might be a bit greedy, but it's got news. It's got room to run. It's a low float. It's got all the right elements to be a runner for today. Let's look at the news. Exclusive agreement with him and Hers Health. 400% increase year over year. Good enough news. I would have liked a bigger pullback there. But I'm going to buy some. Just bought some there. 240. I'll risk about 20 cents a share down to like this level. See if we can't get a nice spike up to the high 2s. That'd be very nice if it really starts running. Looks like there's it's fighting some resistance. Volume's coming in over that breakout, but 250 was a tough one. So I'm gonna be cautious there. OCGN just getting clobbered. Grass saying short seller there. PBY clobbered. INND nothing. PBY fun clobbered. PTPI is like the only thing holding up. Let's see, 250 over 250, very nice. I like how even though it struggled, it held and now it's pushing new highs. This is awesome. Good to see. Good to see. I really do think it's got room to $3. I'm looking at like this level. I know there's no volume, but it looks pretty good. Some sellers are coming in. I got another level 2 over there. See if I can pick them up on the screen for everybody. See if they're still there. What was the high? 75, no surprise there. Nice psychological number. I'm pretty sure they were at 274. So let's see if they're still there next time we test. Some wild action on this low float, to say the least. Good volume just rushed in there. 275, there's that wall. I want to see it test one more time before I take any off, in case we blow through it. But 275 was very thick there. Oh, there's some big sellers there, 272. I'm going to lock in half. But if we blow over 272, 275, I'll keep holding. And we're struggling. I'm going to lock it in. Better be safe than sorry. So I kind of let it test 2-3 times there. Still might rock and roll over that, but that big seller there, if you were watching the ask on 272, there was like 60,000 shares. 275 was actually a huge wall. Not sure if you can see my mouse on the live stream, but I'm highlighting over the ask. It's still holding up though, so with that said, it's probably going to blow through it here. Yep, there it goes. Wow, well, it's hitting the high 2s just like I thought, like I was looking for. But I had a good trade, roughly to... Where was my first fill? Let's look at my executions. 235 was my best fill to 268. Great trade. I'll do that all day, every day. All day, every day. So one winner. I definitely outweighed the loser today. Let's see how much we made. PTPI. I'm doing something wrong. It's good. Just hit 3. Look at that. We'll keep it up on screen. Sick run. So I made about 4,000 on PTPI there. And I locked in at 270. It's at 3. That's crazy. Sick move. Great job, Small Cap Rockets. Who actually brought that up? Evilos?
Should feature him this week. Trader of the week.
Oh, I was going to tell him a message and say great job.
We won.
Great eye. Sick trade, 310. Again, that textbook entry would have been 225. I was a little late, so I got in on that pullback once it held up. We struggled here at 275, which I really should have only locked in half, but I ended up locking it all in. That's fine. The profit finger, I was just a little heavy there. So locked it all in at that when it was struggling there. What was my best fill? Like 269. I ended up filling on the ask. That's fine. And then we broke through those big sellers. I said I should test it 3 times. I let it test like 2.5. But all things considered, good trade. So my loser today was about 1,200. Winner today was 4,200, which puts me up about 3,000 on the day. One winner, one loser. That's the value of risk reward. You gotta make sure your risk. You're gonna take losses, but you gotta make sure it's smaller. So for me, I lost $1,000. Whether you were risking $100 or $50 or whatever you risk on a trade, you want your winners to be 3 times larger than your losers, at least. So in this case, this winner for me was 4 times larger than my loser, which is awesome. DWAT crushed. Man, it's just tough to see everything crushed. What else were they missing? IPIX. I still like BB. Fun crushed. PTPI hit new highs there, 1313. Aren't you getting any of that or what?
Don't have any buying power today.
No buying power today?
It just broke above to 313 though.
Yeah, I know, that's crazy. What was the one? IPIX? Is that one looking good?
I don't have it open my screen.
Probably was out of the gate.
It's at 3.2.
Still going, huh? 320s, new highs. When I start struggling at highs like this, I tend to get nervous. And if I had any in, I'd still be locked in. But if you held that whole move, you were able to catch it, especially that initial 225 entry, like hats off to you. That's a textbook trade. When you get time to answer some questions, I'm out of all my trades. Let's answer some. Yesterday you talked about eTrade Pro having a way to sell on the bid and ask. Could you possibly show that live? How can I do that without showing my account number? I don't know if I can do that. But, right, so imagine this is eTrade Pro. You can like just double click on the bid and ask. I'm like pretending to click on the bid and ask and it'll update your order. And then like from there you don't have to like manually type anything in. It just like share size, puts the price at the bid, and then all you gotta do is click the sell button. So like a lot of times what I'll do, depending on the stock, is I'll like double click on the bid, flip over to like, and a lot of times I have it on market order. Even like something like PTPI here, I was still just using market orders at that point. And I just like would click and then like market buy. So yeah. What level was I risking on PTPI? This is crazy. These dips keep holding. Like this is probably gonna squeeze. I was risking basically a failed breakout, which would have been down to like 210 or so. That's what I would consider a loser on PTPI.
Man, I would keep your eye on INND later.
I'll keep watching INND. It's just a slow mover. I just gotta like adjust my expectations there. How many shares did I end up having? I ended up about 10,000 shares. Definitely wish I would have held them. WBX. WBX is a New York Stock Exchange, probably gonna move slower. I mean, that chart, is this, don't have enough history, kind of looks like a SPAC. That's a good daily breakout chart, like, to be honest. Like, it's curling up, very nice. It definitely looks like, though, on a one day, like, it's like a pretty slow mover. So it's probably more of like a swing trade idea than a day trade idea.
For which one?
WBX.
Dude,
ILUS. This is a former runner. Is it getting close to the breakout again? That's pretty wild. We'll set an alert over that 40 level. It's crazy this is still up here. PTPI, like, no pullbacks. Interesting. I can't buy it up there. The risk reward's way off, but I like it, base hits. Who needs scanners when you have Evilos? Yeah, exactly. That's the value of small cap rockets. That's why small cap rockets is so awesome, because, like, if you miss something, like, you got a whole community of people looking for great trading opportunities, and that's what we saw. How do you know when deciding your positions that a loser is less than a winner? You have to know that when you enter the trade. Like, OCGN, like, I knew it was a speculative early entry, so because of that, I took 500 shares, and that's why I add, like, very aggressively to a winner. But going in, you have to be like, I'm risking whatever, $100. I know I could make 300 if this works. Like, you have to put yourself in those situations, because there's plenty of situations you're like, I don't know, it's 50-50. That's not going to work long term. You need to be in, like, good risk reward situations. Do I have hotkeys? I don't have hotkeys. I really probably should, so I can just be like, bam, 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 buy, buy, buy. That would be, like, way faster than clicking a button. Is the low flow strategy you explained similar to Roland's Gavin crap? Probably similar, probably because it's the same, like, core trading fundamentals. Good, like, techniques, low float with news, yada, yada, yada. Roland's, I think, slightly different. I think he waits a little longer to get in. But he's very, very good strategy either way. But it's got the same good fundamental things. Good chart, good volume, good news, low float, you name it. IND does look good, Mark, by the way. I'm not going to...
235 pretty well.
Yeah, we go to, like, a 2-day. Over this 2-4, like, IND. I'll be ready just in case. It's definitely a slow mover, though. So, like, I'm going to have to buy it knowing this is going to be, like, in all day.
Are you trying to get into it right now?
No, not yet.
Are you waiting for it to pop over 2.4 before you get in?
Yeah, I want this over 2.4. IND over 2.4. Because to me that means the trend is continuing. BB, very nice. What's BB trading at? PTTI, still just consolidating. That's pretty just mind-blowing to me. Talk about selling early. Like, my trade on that was, like, roughly this pullback to, like, here. Which is, like, a good trade. But, man, it's probably going to go higher because it keeps consolidating. IND, again, I'm waiting on that, like, roughly this 2.4 level. Over that, I'd consider it a good buy. Look at this. That's crazy.
You're talking about PTPI?
Yeah, it's probably going to go higher here. Too tough for me to want to buy it, but good trade. User 50819. You gotta change your username. If you actually just, like, right click on your username, you can, like, well, I have, like, superpowers. I'm not gonna do that, but you can change your username. So would I re-enter this? I would, but I would want like a stronger pullback. Like where's VWAP on this at this point? Yeah, so like honestly a dip to like that 275 level, especially because we know it struggled there where I just drew that line. And if it can hold that, it would definitely make me interested in rebuying at some point. IND is starting to curl up. It's probably getting pretty close to a buy. Some decent size on the ask still though.
You want to loan me $500 so I can get into it?
No. Well, I'm going to answer a couple more questions, but that's pretty much it for the live today. Glad we got a couple trades on here. Always good to catch some trades live to see like what people think when they're in a trade. IND, I'm going to buy some. We're going to start buying some here. I'm going to let small cap know. Buying. I know most of you are on this live stream, but just let you know, and then we'll follow up after this. Buying IND 2-4. I just got filled some there. Risking down to roughly 2-3. Looking for new highs on this breakout chart. Well, guys, I know there's a ton of people on YouTube now. Get in small cap rockets. That's where you want to be. That's where you get all the real information. I'm glad I can give you some very briefly in the morning, but the real value, it's crazy this is holding. We might see a pull finally here. Is in small cap rockets. Great spike over that level, just like I was looking for. Get in small cap rockets. And also, I'm going to invite everyone, because clearly you guys are dedicated. There's going to be a link I just dropped in chat. I'll actually pull it up. Let me pull it up real quick. We'll close on this note. Doing a totally live free training. I think everyone can see that. Let me just make sure. Free training. I'm going to drop a link. It's tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Just put your email in, get in. It's the only way you can be invited to the event, and it's free. I know crypto's really hot. I know people have a lot of questions in crypto, so make sure you check it out. Get in on that. Come join me. If you like this live stream, this one's going to be next level. I actually got like a whole crew helping me out, so it's like really, really good setup. So I dropped the link in YouTube.